you just never know whose day you might light up. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Shri Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. My name is Tinder, aka Satinda, and I'm going to make a video just about why I feel like we need to start making more of an effort to be positive with people around us. And disclaimer, this is my personal experience, what has helped me and what I feel like were easy ways to kind of remember to do this. I don't speak on the behalf of anyone. And another disclaimer, I've been in Punjab for 4 or 5 months now, so I'm practicing my English right now. Okay, about why we need to reflect on how we interact with other people, because most people don't intentionally hurt someone else, but then they also don't know how harmful their words can be. So we really need to start being reflective of, you know, where is it all going wrong. And one big thing that stands out for me is that we choose to comment on things that the other person can't choose. For example, in schools, a lot of kids, you know, are commenting on to the other person or the other kid, like, you know, you're too dark. And by alone, it's okay, you know, you're dark, okay, we get that. But when a lot of people keep saying the same thing again and again, that actually becomes an insecurity for the kid. Now, the same thing happens for, you know, you're too light, you're too tall, which happened to me, you're too short, even, you know, you're too hairy, or you have acne, or, you know, you have a funny nose, or a funny ears, or funny eyes, like all those type of things. These aren't things that we can change. So society just has this like habit of picking out what's different of another person, and there's no point in actually pointing it out. Like, there's no need to. Like, when I look in the mirror, I already know that I'm tall, but yet when I was growing up, every single auntie and uncle would be like, "Gudde to kinni lambi hai," and all this kind of stuff, and I'd be like, it's just adding on, and then I felt insecure about my height for so long, because it just there was so much unwanted attention to this one feature about me. And I guess the same happened about my eyes and body hair and so many other things, even about me being too skinny. And, you know, my friends had the same to other perspectives. And what I really feel like is that there wasn't enough conversation about, I like you as a friend, or I think you're very kind, I think you're very nice. Instead, it's a lot about you're this, you're that, because we believe what the eye says, and that's how adults grow up, that's what they teach their kids, and it's just going on. And I just feel like it's unnecessary. Like, we don't need to point out things that people already know. So one thing that I really found really helpful and changed was whenever I talk to someone, I always like to talk about the things that they choose to be. You know, it might be, you know, they choose to be very hardworking, so, you know, you comment people on that, or what they're trying to be, or, you know, that they might be feeling very vulnerable, and helping them with that. And I honestly don't even see physical things anymore, because it's just like a habit now that it doesn't matter, it's, you know, it's not important. So, you know, you just go straight into seeing the other person as a human being, just like you're a human being, you know. So that's one thing. And like, okay, here's the thing, right? Especially when you travel, but even without traveling, you realize how many different type of people there are in the world. There's different belief systems, there's different minds, and everyone has a different experience. And for you to force your own belief or how things should be onto someone, you will end up being alone yourself, because, you know, people will unconsciously push you away, because you do have that type of weird vibe about you where you're trying to force people onto, you know, doing something that you really, you know, believe in or whatever. So yeah, that's kind of the vibe about what the positive influence. It's kind of like, it's for your benefit, because, you know, at the end of the day, who really benefits from being positive is yourself, because you're the one that ends up having positive company around you, so that's good for you. And then everyone else benefits, and then they benefit whoever everybody else is, and then that's a good, happy. So the other ways that there can be a negative situation is from a lack of empathy or consideration. You see this a lot with, white privilege comments, or, just it's kind of the main reason why kids kind of push back their cultural roots or their religious, ideas, because they kind of want to fit in. And I'll try and be clear. So a couple of times growing up, I had some friends that would laugh at stereotypical Indian jokes, and I would kind of half laugh along, but inside I would kind of feel a bit sad because those stereotypes were actually true for my case, and it just made it seem like I meant to feel insecure about that because people are laughing at that. For example, my parents are immigrants, and I don't know, there were a lot of things I was just hiding who I am in order to fit in with people. And I was also hiding my spirituality because, people make fun of people that are spiritual. So, especially, it's I'll give a specific Sikh example, is women that are Amritari now. They didn't used to be Amritari, and some of them never even grew up in a Sikh environment. And so, we're still with our old friends, and our old friends, still talk about things like hair removal and hairstyling and going to the salon and, clubbing or whatever it is that they talk about. And you're kind of sitting there on this spiritual journey where you don't want to lose your friends because of, this tie that you have, but they're being so inconsiderate about who you are as a being. So that's the other type of way that you can make a really negative situation on people, and that's why people will kind of push away. But if there was just that tiny bit of consideration given, and those conversations were held another time, you can still maintain that friendship. You get me? 2 tips on how to be positive for those around you. Firstly is choose to have interactions with other people based on what they choose to be rather than what they already are. They can't change, the fact that they have only a mum or only a dad, or that they're Asian, or that they're African, or that their parents practice Islam, or that they have body hair, or that they come from a lower socioeconomic background. They can't change those things, so you don't need to bring them up. Talk about the good stuff. That's what we mean. And then the other thing is to start actually considering what your friends might be sensitive about. If they're starting to go plant-based, you would, try avoid those type of conversations that would make them feel insecure. If they're starting to keep their hair, you would avoid those type of conversations that would make them feel insecure. This is the other thing, so if you are facing those things, for me, what really worked was kind of just accepting, yeah, I am tall, and then kind of just turning around to the person and saying, I am tall, what are you going to do? And, that's kind of where the conversation stops. Or, yes, I am Indian, and yes, I do have body hair, or yes, I do, yes, I am different. That's kind of when everything stops and you kind of just own who you are. But it takes time. It takes time to develop that resilience. You're not just going to one day be able to, as a 12-year-old or as a 16-year-old in high school, be able to just, turn around and say, this is why I'm keeping my gas. It's going to take time to build that. But yeah, so one thing for if you are actually facing it is kind of removing your emotions from it a bit and seeing how other people see it, which is with these worldly eyes. And that is, they might be commenting on the fact that, I'm growing my gas as a Sardar, and that's because it's true. I am having a beard, and I am becoming different to them, and they might be finding that weird. it's just kind of accepting that, and that way when they bring those things up, it feels less hard on you, like it feels less insecure. Like, you know, if you kind of just accept and say, okay, look, maybe I am a bit overweight, maybe I am tall, maybe I am short, all those type of things, when you actually accept it with yourself, then the power that other people have on you becomes much less. I don't really want to go specifically, do I? I guess, and so in the Sikh community, there's a lot, it's very toxic. Like, I don't understand why people can't just like come together and speak about Gurbani and everyone's happy. Like, why do people not do that every time? Like, not every time, because now I have found beautiful Sangat in Melbourne. But before then, it's like whenever I went to a Sikh like Sangat, or you know, people would just be starting to fight, and even on Twitter, and you know, see the same things on Instagram and the news and stuff. You know, people are going, you know, meat eaters versus non-meat eaters, people that keep their hair versus not ready to do that or not there yet, people that hate India versus people that love India. Like, there's so much of this stuff, and there's not much of, hi, I just read this Gurbani today, why don't we share that? Like, why? I don't understand it. Like, that is where Sikhi is at with me. So personally, what I do to kind of you know, mingle with Sikh is to keep personal things like my maryada, my nitnem, my you know, my diet, all those kind of things. I keep them to myself, and I only tell trusted people. Not that there's anything to hide, it's just that I don't want to cause, just don't want to have that conversation. Like, it's unless I'm here to, like, you know, helping someone and they've, you know, asked specifically, or we've specifically started that conversation, I just don't like to open that can of worms. And whenever we do get together, it's more about how are you feeling, what are you going through, what is that teaching you. Let's look at what Gurbani says. Pretty simple stuff like that, really. Yeah, like we have a couple of, my Sangat, like now, like we have some good games, and like we're all so different. Everyone's come from different parts of India, and you know, some of them, you know, cut their hair, some of them don't, some of them trim, like, and it doesn't matter because we're all there for the purpose of Gurbani. And I just feel like I saw more of that on social media, you know, but a lot of it's just about what do's and don'ts. I mean, oh, if you're Amatari, you should do this and then this. And honestly, like, people should also just relax on the whole Amatari agenda thing. Like, if people people are reading Gurbani, you should be encouraging them, like, that's awesome, and then, you know, have conversations with them about what that Gurbani means to them. Like, some of my friends that have the most positive impact on me and help me understand Gurbani are those that are like atheist or agnostic. They're not even Sikh, or they, you know, cut their hair. And that's because we're focusing on the Gurbani, and they help me to understand what the Gurbani is saying. So that's kind of what I just wanted to say. Now that I've said that, I feel like I spoke, oh no, I kept talking and moving. Yeah.